What is up, y'all, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is One Pixel. Yes, guys. If you guys know who I was before as Lollyman16, I have rebranded. I'm rebranded different, better than before. And One Pixel, I've chose this name, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and review Dragon Ball Super episode 125. Ifudodo Hakaishin Toppo Korin, which as translated as with imposing presence, the god of destruction descends. There are many different types of different variations of this title this week. This is the one I'm using, but there are many different types. Like the advent of the god of destruction, Toppo, is another one of them. But man, guys, what an episode. And I definitely thought this episode was much better than last week, especially with what Toppo and how he performed this week, and some really great stuff. So we have 17 this week, and essentially he's really strategic. I was not expecting him to be this strategic at all, but what 17 does is he notices the time, which by the way is 6 minutes remaining by the beginning of the episode, and it counts down to the end about 5 minutes. But 17 notices a really good strategy. You know, they only have 6 minutes left in the tournament, and because he is a artificial human, a Jinzo Ningen, he essentially has Mugen Energy, or infinite energy, and what he wants to do is he wants to stall Toppo. So this is really good. Not only it's really good strategy, but it's good storytelling as well. So 17, what he wants to do is he wants to stall Toppo essentially until the time runs out. And when the clock strikes 0, Universe 7 will have 4 guys remaining, and so that means they will win. So that's what he's counting on. But Toppo, it's not going to be that easy. He is a Universe 11 God of Destruction candidate, and I like the fact that in this episode, the God of Destruction Belmod and his Kaioshin, they did mention that, and they did mention that he did plenty of training to achieve this kind of power. And so some may think that his transformation overall, and by the way, his transformation was really cool. You know, it's a kind of a shonen trope. You know, if they take off their shirt, then they get more powerful. I mean, that's kind of a trope, but they played it well in this episode, and it's also a trope that shonen characters, you know, they usually won't show their full power until the very end. But they did a good job with that as well here, displaying just how powerful Toppo really is, and you know, it's just a cool thing to see. Toppo ain't a chump, that's for sure. So the Toppo transformation, let's talk about that for a minute. I thought the Toppo transformation was very cool, and some people may think it might come out of nowhere, but that's not actually true. Toppo is a candidate of the God of Destruction, and I think what this episode is trying to imply here is that Toppo, he's giving up his justice to achieve this kind of power. I reference this back to, if you guys ever watched The Legend of Korra, when Zahir, he can when his I'm not even sure what you'd call her, like his wife or his girl, I guess you could say, when she essentially dies, he lets go of all earthly desires and he's able to fly. I think of it something as like this with Toppo, as in this episode, you know, he's saying like justice is worthless and evil is worthless too, and all I care about is destroying now, and that's how I've obtained this power. And so it works similarly. Good storytelling. It's not, you know, just kind of trained out of nowhere. Toppo, and it's a pretty big gamble, because I think that, you know, once you let go of all the, you know, the mortal stuff, quote unquote, the justice and evil and his normal morals, I guess you could say, once you let go of that, then it's basically no turning back. So, and Jiren even notices this. Like he's saying in his mind, like, oh, so you finally made up your mind, Toppo, of what you want to do. And it's really pretty big, a big gamble and a big resolve for Toppo, which I really liked. So let's talk about Frieza for a minute in this episode. You know, Frieza up to this point in the arc has been kind of lackluster, but I think that these final episodes really showcase just how cunning Frieza really is. With last week we had him facing off against Dispo and the whole bargaining thing, and this episode he's just coming in there like a boss, and he's cheating and he's blasting Toppo on the back. Like the conniving guy he really is. And it actually seems like at one point Frieza almost eliminates Toppo, but then he starts his transformation. And it's interesting because now Frieza has dealt with God of Destruction powers and energy like this before. If you guys remember, way back in episode 95, he dealt with Sidra and his Hakai energy. But in this episode, it doesn't work. And Toppo, he's really trying. Versus when Sidra did it, it was just a really small energy ball, and he wasn't really trying. And besides, it's being launched by, or at least at the time, it was being launched by an assassin. Whereas this episode, it's being launched. With a real God of Destruction. So does this mean that Toppo is an actual God of Destruction? No, I would say not. Because number one, he wasn't inaugurated as a God of Destruction, and this new form that he has, it seems to be pretty unstable, right? Because he can't really control his. I don't think he can completely control his actions. It's a little unstable. But it does show the fruitions of his training, and which I thought was really cool. Now, I really also liked that they brought back the death ball that Frieza used. Actually, there was a couple of Namek references here. When Frieza was attacked by the Hakai energy, and then when he came back from it, we see that same pose that he did on Namek with one of his eyes, kind of squinting. I'm not sure what you call it exactly. It's wincing. That's the word I wanted to say. When Frieza was wincing, and we see him on the rock face, it's very similar to what. Actually, it's almost exactly the same as what he did against Goku on Namek. And so I thought that was a very cool reference point there. And then another really cool thing is they show Frieza using the Death Ball again, which was really cool. I definitely like that because, in Dragon Ball Super, we don't really see a lot of huge energy balls and stuff anymore. I mean, we did a little bit with Zamasu and stuff, with a Genki Dama, a Spirit Bomb, and also, trying to think what else. Well, the Spirit Bomb that Goku used against Jiren. But, I mean, besides other than that, people have just been using beams and stuff, or small ki blasts, and I really like that they brought back the old Death Ball. Just a really cool move. So yeah, I mean, Frieza, he literally throws this thing, and it has literally the power to destroy a planet instantly. But then, and here's something else. So I guess that with the God of Destruction power also comes the Hakai energy, or Hakai aura, I guess you could say. It's essentially an aura to where it disintegrates matter and energy upon touch. So what Toppo does is he launches this really small bit of energy, and it completely vaporizes Frieza's Death Ball. I mean, the God of Destruction power is no joke, guys. And so 17 in this episode has to come up with a way to try and beat him. But I don't think he's gonna beat him. I mean, and I gotta have really mad props to 17 for staying in there this long. And I mean, he's completely outmatched, but he uses his infinite energy and his quick wits and his strategy to come up with some sort of a plan to defeat Toppo. And I thought that was really cool on Toei's part. So good job, excellent. And I thought also this week, I know it was I don't know, I think it was supervised by Yoshitaka Yashima this week, if I'm not mistaken, but he did the majority of animation work in this episode. I saw but it looked really good. I was very surprised on how fluid the motions were and everything. I mean, excellent stuff. Really great. But of course, this is to be expected, because we are winding down to the end of the series, and these last few episodes, they almost have to be on point, right? I mean, that's kind of what you expect, but damn, I really like this. And also the direction, right? The storyboard and direction was on point here for sure. Especially displaying Toppo's power, just displaying how much power he had. Like, at one point, I think the entire arena and the world of Void actually shook from the power of Hakaishi and Toppo. And it also, Toppo has so much power. It seemed like he just with one Hakai blast, like, it almost created like this black hole type of thing where everything was sucking into the arena. Just great stuff, great direction, great storyboarding. Excellent episode, I thought. Better than last week for sure. And no banked animations that in this week. That was a good thing. But yeah, guys, what do you think is going to happen? Personally, I think that I could kind of see this scenario going down. So 17 is going to have to go out at some point. I mean, even, how good of he's really good. Let me just say this. 17 is really good, but I think that 17 is completely outmatched here, even with strategy. And so he's going to have to go out. And then I see a scenario in where Vegeta may possibly take himself and Toppo out, just like Gohan did when he took out Dispo. And then it's going to be Goku, Frieza, and Jiren left. And then Goku and Jiren are going to go at it, go all out. And then they're going to double eliminate each other. And then I foresee that, maybe Frieza will stay in it. That's kind of my expectation, but who knows? I mean, this thing could go anywhere, and I gotta also give props, one more last thing, to Sumitomo this week. He debuted a new soundtrack when Toppo transformed, and it was dang glorious. Sumitomo has been kind of a mixed guy, but I think especially in the Goku Black arc and from there forwards, I think his work has been on point. I think it's been pretty darn good. There are some episodes where his music was iffy, but I think starting from the Goku Black arc, he has really stepped up his game. Anyways, guys, excellent episode. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Thank you all today. Again, I am rebranded. I am rebranded. I am no longer Lollyman16. I'm One Pixel, guys. And I hope you guys enjoy the name. Hope you guys enjoy the review. Let me know in the thoughts. Should I go back to what I was before? Or do you like these kind of reviews? Or do you like the old school reviews where I go through everything in the episode? Anyways, that's my thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Stay awesome, everybody. And have a good one.